The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
As a former New Hampshire state representative who marched with Dr. Martin Luther King in 1963, he currently serves on the New Hampshire Commission for Human Rights. He's a product of Birmingham, Alabama, where at one time he had to guess how many jelly beans were in a fruit jar just to be able to vote.
We've come a long way, but we're not there yet.
Together we will explore the visible laws, invisible laws, and the structures above and beneath our human surface that keep us reaching for the stars. It is his goal to work with you in putting Nashua back on top, to be voted the #1 city in the nation again.
We are in a crisis situation, and that's what we're going to talk about.
I'm Harvey Keye. Welcome to Nashua Strong.
Good afternoon, Nashua, New Hampshire. Welcome to Access Nashua TV station called Access Nashua. So if you want to see something great and wonderful right here locally, then you tune into Access Nashua television show and you'll see it. I usually start this introduction or a little chat about myself. You know, I'm the guy from Birmingham, Alabama, who had to count the number of beads in a jar before I could vote when I just come back from Korea back in 1956. And that's one of the reasons I'm on this show. I have a tear about, I'm on a tear rather, about voting. Why vote? Who votes? Why do they want to keep me from voting today? Why do they want to keep you from voting today? Why do they, whomever you want to call they, are suppressing and oppressing you at the voting booths? There is a reason, and I'm going to allude to that reason, those reasons. One is political and economic. Let me say it again. Political and economic reasons why they're keeping you out of the voting booth. Wake up, Nashua. Wake up. Last time we had a chance to vote, 28% of the eligible voters voted in the election. We got to do better. We can do better, and we will do better. Now, the other reason, I have a new guest on the show, and he doesn't know much about me, and he might not find out much about me today, except the fact that I'm on a tear to get women involved in ownership of businesses. We've had too many women pushed to the back of the line because they were females. We don't need that. We won't have it. We're going to do something about it. The other reason I'm on this show is about self-respect. When women in this Nashua community work 2 or 3 jobs with 2 or 3 kids, they do not have time to teach respect about anything. They are tired. So when their kids grow up, they don't respect the police department. They don't respect teachers. They don't respect government. They don't respect our community. We can do better. We will do better. And I'm here to talk about we can do better. We have a wonderful mayor. Jim Donches has been in this position 2 times before. Once in the late 80s and once in the 90s, and just last year, this city was voted the one of the #1 cities in the world to live and raise kids. Do you think I'm proud to be in this city? Do you think I've adopted this city as my city instead of Birmingham, Alabama, where, and I'll say it again, George Wallace said, segregation now, segregation today, and segregation forever. Folks, we can change and we will change. And the way we will change is keep talking positively, speaking positively, treating people better, and what else can I say about that? Except preaching to you, and I don't want to do that. You know where I stand. I've said this before. I'll keep saying it until we change. And now I am privileged to have a young fella. He says, why do you call me young? My hair is grayer than yours. Well, I have that right because I'm 85 and he can't be more than 40 or 50. We'll give him 60 maybe. I don't know. But anyway, we have a guy here that I met just recently at the Business Network International morning breakfast, or not breakfast, it was their, I guess, weekly meeting. And I talked to them because I want our city to become stronger and stronger. And one of the ways we become stronger is invite strong companies to come to our city and do business. This fella I haven't met him just recently. He got excited about the show. And I said, if you want to come on the show, call me. And we'll figure out a little introduction. And what I'm going to do is just ask him, let me tell you what his name is first. It's German and Irish, and it's pretty hard to pronounce. It's called Buschle.
Buschle.
Buschle, see, that's a correction. His name is Kent Buschle. And Kent is one of the representatives for a payment system, for payroll payment system. He says they're the largest in the world, but I haven't spoken with his competition. I would imagine the competition might say they are the largest in the world. But that's okay. We're not here to compete. We're here to introduce you to Buschle. Buschle, it's like Buschle. That's a Buschle, like a gathering, isn't it?
I don't know.
Is it? Okay.
Buschle is the way it's pronounced.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So I'm trying to tell you, Buschle is a party. And this guy is saying Buschle is German and Irish. That's okay. But I was saying to you that I'm passionate about equal pay for women, self-respect, respect for parents, police departments, government, what have you, and the power of voting, of why we vote. We got to do better. Other than that, we are in big trouble. So I'm going to ask Kent a few questions about why he's on this show. So let me introduce you to him. This is Kent. Say that last
I know you can do it, Harvey. You've done it before.
Buschle.
Buschle.
Buschle. Oh, I wanted him to say
Now
it because
I
he
know
said
nobody's going to forget that name.
Buschle. It's almost like a Bush League, almost. But at any rate, let me introduce you to this guy that I met just a week ago, and I think he has a fabulous product, and maybe somebody in our Nashua audience can use it. And I want to ask him a couple of questions. How did you get into this business, Kent?
It's a long story, but at the end of the day, what it came down to was I wanted a job where I could make residual income, meaning the income will come over time and it will build. So that's the best kind of income you have, and so that limits the opportunity. The other kind of income is earned income, where you work for a day and you get paid for that day. I'd rather work for a day and get paid for a lifetime, and that's what residual income is. So as long as my customers stay with me, I'll make money.
Is this like an insurance business?
Well, the pay plan is similar to insurance, but it's not an insurance business. But anyway, you asked me why I got into this, and so that limited the opportunity. And the other thing that I wanted, and it's interesting that you talk about respect and women entrepreneurs. If you were to, Heartland is the company that I work for. It's Heartland Payment Systems. We do credit card processing and payroll. But if you looked on our website or my business card, well, not my business card, but if you generally looked up Heartland, you'd see that our buzzword, our sort of like our mantra, is honesty, integrity, and respect. And our whole thing about helping business people is treating them like as if they're a partner, and we want to help them grow their business.
Let me ask you, how many women do you have working for your company?
No clue.
How many women do you have working in New Hampshire?
Here's what I would say. I'm in the sales end of the business, and as any big business, we're on the New York Stock Exchange. Wall Street loves us. Our stock has gone from 10 to 90 in the last 7 years, so we're a good investment. But as with any big company, there's an inside and an outside. The inside's full of accountants and customer service people and engineers and et cetera, et cetera. How many people are on the inside, I couldn't tell you. But on the outside, those are salespeople, and I'm a salesperson.
Let me go back to my question.
And half of the salespeople that I've been involved with are women.
In New Hampshire?
Well, we have New England.
Do you have any in New Hampshire who are females?
Couple.
A couple.
We have maybe I think maybe 5 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10.
in all of New Hampshire.
Correct.
And how long?
We have 400 sales reps across the country.
Now, just New Hampshire. I'm going to stick with New Hampshire because our first love is Nashua. The other one is New Hampshire, and the third, or tertiary, quaternary level is the world. So we're going to stick with New Hampshire. Okay. So if we had eligible females, I don't know what the eligibility or what the qualifications are to work for your company.
Are they honest, and can they sell product?
Okay.
And do they want to work on commission?
Okay.
And are they real go-getters?
Where could they go and find an application to work for your company?
They would call me because I'm the manager in this area.
You're the manager of the territory.
I have most of New Hampshire and half of Massachusetts as my territory, and I hire the sales reps for this territory.
Okay. So, ladies, those who say that you can compete in the world of sales, and it's not an easy job, you know. It takes some bearing down and some studying and some crunching to get into the sales business and stay there. It's not, it's just not easy. As someone said to me the other day, Harvey, you were in sales for 50 years. I said, yep, and I would like to do that. And I said, yeah, you would like to do that? You don't know what I do. I only tell you what stuff sticks on the wall. I don't tell you what falls off the wall. When I go home, I don't tell my wife all of the stuff that I did today that didn't stick. I only talk about the successes. But there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of times that you try in something that doesn't work, and you can't, as a salesperson, become deterred and disappointed and turn your back, and you got to go after it again, after again. So I won't get into that, but you hear what Kent says. If you want a job, call Kent. You'll see his number on the TV screen. If not, call me, and I'll get you in touch with Kent. So thank you so much.
Just as an aside, if you do have people who are interested, well, I'll say this. There's a magazine that salespeople read. If you're a good salesperson, you'll read this magazine called Selling Magazine. It's called Selling Magazine. It's the #1 magazine in the country. And if you want to know a good company to work for, you're going to read this magazine. You're going to look at success stories. It's like the Forbes of the world of selling, and we all sell in some way, shape, or form. The point I'm trying to make is that Selling Magazine rates Heartland. Of the Fortune 1000 companies in the U.S., Heartland is #1, the #1 company to sell for, more than Apple, more than Microsoft, more than GE.
Why?
#1, Heartland.
Why?
For a variety of reasons. We're really good people. We really want to help. The pay is awesome. And you can retire on Heartland income in the way that we're paid, in that residual income. That's a really good way to get paid.
Will you, Kent? What? How do you
Every
mean?
time somebody, okay, so what we haven't gotten into is what is Heartland. And we process credit cards. So any business that takes a credit card needs to have somebody that processes that card, approves it, pays the merchant, gets the money. Long short.
Is that a machine?
Well, it can be a machine if you
I mean, it's a machine. I go to, let's say I go to Walmart. They run my card through a machine.
Right.
Is that one of yours?
It could be. I mean, it could be e-commerce. It could be somebody ordering something online. They have to pay for it online.
But let's say if they use your product from Heartland.
Right. So we would hope that they would use Heartland. That's one of the reasons we're so large. But the thing is that it could be our machine that they're using. It could be someone else's machine. It's not the machine in the world of credit card processing that's important. What's important is how quickly the business owner gets their money from that swipe, how quickly they can get questions answered, how quickly they can get support. Do they ever see a sales rep? Most often, if they're not with Heartland, they don't.
Let me just interrupt. Now, if, let's say, New England, which is 6 states, Walmart decided to take your product called Heartland, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they would decide that they're not happy with a competitor that's processing.
Yeah.
They'll say, Heartland do that for us.
Heartland do that. Now, does Heartland have a machine different than the one that they have already?
Well, in the case of big box stores, there are companies that make those machines. Heartland does not.
Do you have a machine?
We have a machine. It's called Heartland, but we don't make it. Ingenico makes it. When you're at Walmart, you'll see a Verifone machine. Doesn't matter the machine. There's 7 companies out there that make those machines.
That plastic.
They process the plastic, and that machine aims to a processor. It either aims to Heartland or one of Heartland's competitors. And we hope, my job is to get that aiming to us.
And who is your competitor?
Oh, there's really only
the next one down from you.
First
You're the biggest
Data.
in the world.
First Data.
First Data. And how big are they? You're the biggest in the world. How big are they?
Well, when I say we're the biggest in the world, let's just say that First Data's really big in some areas, and we're really big in other areas, but there's really 3 big players. Okay. WorldPay, First Data, Heartland. That's all anybody has to know.
Okay, now let me just go back to where we want to be.
Right.
That's Nashua.
That's right.
We want Nashua to look at your product.
Right.
The business people here, does it have to do with the size of business?
No.
And it could be mom and pop store.
Yep.
Or it could be, a chain who would have the headquarters outside of Nashua, hypothetically.
Right.
Let's see, Amazon
Mm-hmm.
would be some other place.
Right.
And but if they chose to use your product in Nashua without using it internationally, is that a possibility?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Is there a price to use your machine? I mean, when you say
Our service.
your service, we don't usually talk about price, and I won't ask you that because I think that's it's not private, but it's corporate privacy. They don't need to. I don't need to produce that out here because all your competition will be after you, and you know that.
Good. Maybe I'll hire them.
I know you hire them. What I really want to know about are there any opportunities at your company now for salespeople?
So I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Is there an opportunity for?
To hire people in your territory.
Yes, I'd love to have another person covering the Nashua, Manchester, Salem area.
Ladies and gentlemen, right here is an opportunity. You know how tough jobs are to get if you're qualified or not qualified, but you got to be qualified. What's the qualification for working for your company?
There isn't one, but as a sales manager, I'll tell you what I look for. I would look for someone that's been selling before, someone that's been selling under a commission-based structure, not a salary-based structure. So I know they've been successful. They are used to getting up in the morning and going out and working. I would look for someone that's really nice, able to get along with people. I would look for someone that is qualified. They have a computer. They know how to use it. They're proficient in Word, Microsoft, Excel, products like that. They're good on Outlook, or they're good on sending emails. They're good in grammar. They've been to college. But they don't have to be a college grad. They just have to be good and have a proven sales record. And they have to be driven.
Now,
they have to want to make money. They have to retire on Heartland.
If you're gonna pay commission only, do you pay expenses?
No, the government doesn't at tax season at the end of the year. So save your receipts and write them off.
Even if you're hired?
Correct.
You simply get paid the commission?
Correct.
You write the receipt off based on your income?
Correct.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, call me if you want this job. The job is going to allow you to retire handsomely from Heartland if you would like it. Now, you're listening to Harvey at Access Nashua, and this is a TV show called Nashua Strong. We're going to strengthen this organization called Nashua, of 90,000 people, and I don't know how many businesses. And it doesn't matter whether you're a small business or a large business. Give me a call if you want to look at something that is really competitive, top of the line, and second to none in terms of proficiencies. I think I've said enough about that product, and I haven't seen it yet, but that's pretty good stuff. How long have you been with the company, Ken?
2 years, a
2
little
years.
over 2 years.
You're territory manager already,
Right,
and they had somebody there before you.
correct.
Same territory?
A little different, a little
A
smaller.
little different, a little smaller. What's your ideal client?
That's a great question. So anybody that processes a credit card is a potential candidate. That could be someone swiping on a phone at a fair. That could be one of the larger restaurants in the state. That could be a convenience store, a gas station, a retail store, anybody that swipes a card. That could be anyone that has a business that's selling out of their garage on the internet. Any business owner that takes a credit card is a candidate for Heartland. Now, having said that, the person that would typically call me is someone, so for your audience, just so that they know. If they're a business owner, they know that. But for people who aren't business owners, it may surprise some people in the audience to know that whenever a merchant, a business owner, swipes a credit card, that business is taking a discount because there's a fee associated with that fee. The business owner is taking a discount. So you're a business owner, and I come in and I pay with credit card.
I charge you $20.
Let's just make it easy for the audience.
Yeah.
You charge me $100.
Yeah.
You just took a $2 to $5 discount on that. You just made $95 instead of $100, because the processor and the credit card companies are going to charge you $5 for the honor to take plastic.
So if I think you're spending $100 with me, you're really spending $95 with me.
Right, because you're paying out of your hard-earned money, the processor, Heartland, the credit card company, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and the bank who issued the card, DCU, Bank of America,
Who
Chase.
distributes this money to them?
Who distributes the money to
mon-
you?
No, I pay for this, for the privilege of,
You paid the company
to process.
to process.
And who
How do
takes
you get
it?
your money?
Yeah.
We give you your money. So in other words, you swipe a card for $100.
Yeah.
You want to get paid for that merchandise.
When do
I
I-
walked out of your store with product. You want to get paid, right?
When do I get paid?
Next day with Heartland, could be 2 or 3 days later with the other guys.
With your competition.
Correct.
Are the swiping charges the same for every company?
No, it's a great question, and that's one of the reasons people like Heartland, because our swiping charges are typically less than most. When I walk into a merchant and I see I see anywhere between, usually the average is, I'd say maybe 2.7 to 3.5%. I've seen it as high as 10. I've seen it as low as 2. But typically we're at or below anybody else in the world.
How is that charge determined?
Primarily based on volume. So the lower your volume, the higher percentage you'll pay as an owner. The higher the volume, it's so for instance, let's just take a restaurant chain in the area, Panera Bread. Not only in our area, but I mean,
I was there today.
yeah, so that's a Heartland account. They will pay 2% because of their volume, whereas a little diner, standalone diner, they may pay 2.5 to 3%. Either way, they're going to pay less with Heartland than they are with anybody else. So if I'm a business owner, I want to reduce. If I'm a business owner, I want to make money, right? So there's 2 ways.
That's the reason you're in business.
So there's 2 ways to make money. You can raise the bridge, which is sell more, or lower the water, which is reduce your expenses. So if I'm a business owner, I want to reduce my expenses. Who am I going to call? You're likely to call Heartland, but then what if there's 3 other companies that are offering me the same rate? That's what business owners know that is. What's your rate? I hear it all the time. I'm going to say, what if I was the same rate? Let's talk about customer service. How long does it take you to get a hold of where you're currently at? Oh, 15 minutes I'm on hold listening to music. With Heartland, it's 6 seconds. What are you paying for American Express? With us, it's less. Do you ever see a sales rep? No, they signed me up. I haven't seen the person since. Well, you're going to see me because I'm paid on residual income, meaning I want to come around and see how the kids are, right? So you're going to see me on a regular basis.
How do you advertise?
I never want to lose you as a customer.
How do you advertise your business?
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
I have never seen
how would they know about Heartland if you don't tell them?
That's a great question. I've never seen a credit card processing company advertise on television. I've never heard it on the radio. I've never seen it on a billboard.
How do they find out about these companies?
Well, with me, they find out because I go
they don't
around,
know who you are.
I go around, knock on doors, and I say, hey,
So
I want to be your sales rep.
There's 1,000 companies in Nashua, Nashua, New Hampshire, who's using some processor
Correct.
to pay them and they got to pay the processor. How do they find out about it? Is there a special magazine,
No.
special?
Harvey, you're getting to the crux of this industry. It's a tough industry. The way they find out about me, they're processing cards today. How did they start? Maybe a bank told them. Maybe they were in another business and they used somebody. Maybe they used Heartland, so they called me up. But most of the businesses around here are my accounts. Those that are my accounts, they found out about me because I walked in and knocked on a door.
You don't have any accounts in Nashua at this time?
Ton of them.
You have a ton of them?
Ton of them. Don't have all of them.
But you need somebody to call on these
That's
accounts
right.
in Nashua.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to come to the end of our session today with Kent, the young man. I won't even try to pronounce his last name, but he's done a fantastic.
Was it Buschle?
I want to call it Buschle because
then
that's a party.
Then let's
That's
stick
a
with
party.
that.
Buschle.
Let's stick with Buschle.
Buschle. But his name is Kent, and he's been so nice to us by describing what goes on with his company, the needs for the company, and what he needs as a salesperson in this area. I want to thank you greatly, Kent, for sharing your time and interest
Thank you,
with
Harvey.
us.
It's been great.
And we wish you the best in the world. And I want you to come back again. Maybe down the line, we'll talk about it again. There's no have-tos, but we need people like you in our community to make us stronger. I am on a tear again about making this city stronger and better across the board for all of the 90,000 residents. And hopefully we'll go some other places and we can become the model for the United States of America. We want to make it great. Again, I think I borrowed a few words from somebody, but it doesn't have to be that guy or any other person. We want our country and our city and our state to be fantastic. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Have a nice, not a weekend yet. Whatever it is, you have a nice one. Thank you.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.